jazz, pop, classical, whatever, everything. So a variety of things. So tonight he's going to share with us how a spiritual lifestyle has enriched this talent that he has naturally. Before he came here, he was head of the drum department, I heard, at the Sydney Conservatorium, yes, and he's received awards for his skills, local awards and international awards as well. So we're in the hands of a very, very expert spiritual person who has applied his spirituality to enhance a talent that he has is very special and very natural. So welcome, David Jones.
Thank you. Good evening. The topic tonight is about the power of vision, and it's something I've been thinking about particularly very intensely from last year because I had some eye issues. I had 2 operations on my left eye and everything's good, so no problems there. But it was very, very, very challenging and brought up a whole lot of issues that were associated with the method or the way I see things, the way I perceive of life in general. Because basically, I think, we're all challenged at different points. True? And what can happen out of any challenge, whether it be health issues or relationship issues or financial, there's so many different things that, and sometimes all at once it comes to us. There's always an opportunity. And this is what I chose to do with the health issues that happened last year. I could have gone through that, and because medical science is so advanced now, you get through. It might be not the same after it, but you get through and you think, oh, great, okay, I got through that next scene into the next part of the drama, and almost want to forget it because it was, it was quite challenging. But in fact, I realized through meditation and through the deep experiences that were happening through that time that, wow, I've got an opportunity here to learn a lot about myself and my perceptions and my way of seeing and what I wasn't looking at, what I wasn't paying attention to, and not blaming myself for having an illness. That's not the point at all. But what I saw was the opportunity. I'll say the word opportunity again, because to learn and extract the most from the experiences. Because I'll emphasize it again. Sometimes we just get through and we think, oh, okay, it's over. But there's always a chance for us to go higher, go to another state of awareness and understanding and perhaps extract the most precious lessons from whatever happens. So I chose that. And I do remember I couldn't drive for, I think it was over 2 months. It was about 2 and a bit months. Anyway, the very next day, once I'd actually had the okay from the surgeon, everything's good, everything's healing, everything's fine, you can drive again. So even that sense of autonomy, that I could actually drive and have my own space was such a relief. But what happened, and I didn't plan this, the very next morning after hearing that news that everything was good and it was healing, was I woke up with the thought, and it was not just a thought, it was complete with a feeling. And it must have come from the subconscious because it was the first thought on waking, which felt really beautiful that I hadn't manufactured the thought. Understand? So, because in our meditation practice, we are practicing. We're actually practicing thought to become feeling, to become an experience, to become life, to become our foundation of how we are, and our way of life, way of being. But this was so beautiful. What I woke up with was the thought and the feeling, complete experience that I want to see the best in everyone. I want to see the best in myself. And the other part of it was, I want to see the best in every situation. And that came spontaneously from the subconscious, so it must have been very deep. It was like a very authentic, honest feeling. And so that was a delight. And, I've been really wanting to continue that focus, because the focus that we have becomes our life, doesn't it? Whatever we focus on, that becomes the experience. So as your vision, so your world, your whole world, our world is coloured by the way we see things. So it's not just seeing with the physical eyes, but the way we perceive and the attitudes that drive everything that we observe, and how we react to things or respond to things. So we have a choice there too. Do we just react or see it a different way, that, oh, if I just have a little silence here, I'm feeling upset about something, if I just be still for a moment, deal with that, then respond rather than react. So, there's always a choice. And that was very, very clear through this experience of vision being impaired, and it's still impaired, so I've still got glasses on. So the interesting thing is that these two eyes are really only gel. Even our body, it's so temporary and fragile, isn't it? If you really sometimes focus, not in a negative way, but just realize what it is, it's really changing all the time. It's a wonderful, wondrous costume that we wear to express and experience in the physical realm, and the mask that we currently have. I saw a wonderful man at the airport today. I came back from Mount Gambier. Had some work the last day and a half there, and there was a man, he must have been maybe early 70s or something, and he looked like he was just smiling at everyone. And I really felt almost compelled to go and say hello. It was just such a lovely vibe. But all of these lines on his face were smile lines, and actually I realised when he was on the plane later, and I looked across again, not invading his space, of course, but I was looking at him, just observing. I thought, wow, he's not even smiling, but it's the result of many smiles, that his whole face was sort of beaming. And I thought, and then the old saying came to mind, that you get the face that you deserve. Because of your thoughts, your face is shaped that way. Because even in the face that I have now, it wasn't always like that. I had a passport photo before I was a meditator, and I looked like a wild man. It's like really wild, sort of look in the eyes, and sort of, the beards are good, but it was sort of bushy beard and sort of looked a bit rough around the edges, And I thought, wow, if I'd continued along that line, I wouldn't be looking like this. So vision is so precious. That's the other thing that came out of my experiences, was that to see, we're using all of these senses to be able to hear, to be able to see, to be able to experience, feel through the body, through the skin is unbelievable. It's really precious. All of our senses are precious, and sometimes they do get impaired. So what's even more precious is inner sight, isn't it? Actually, to perceive, to see beyond all the illusions and things that change. Because things change all the time, and that can be very unsettling. What, another change? There's another old saying, the only constant is change. So we have to get used to that at some point. And as a meditator, if you get into meditation, who's very new to meditation, just out of interest? Yeah. Enjoying it? It's wonderful, isn't it? And it's really just sitting with yourself, with the thoughts. And sure, thoughts still come. You don't blank your mind. But as Jacqueline was saying beautifully before the meditation that we just had, just park thoughts, you can file it away somewhere. You can give a time for it. Right, in 1 hour's time, I'm going to think about that, or ring that person, or do that. But now I'm thinking about peace. So if I'm thinking about calmness or peace, what do you think is going to happen? Eventually, you're going to start feeling peaceful. Another old saying, fake it till you make it. So even if you're not feeling peaceful at the time, if you think enough about what real peace is, not just absence of war or conflict or fighting, that peace is actually the natural state of the soul. If you think a lot about that, and you've heard the phrase, I am a peaceful soul, yeah? All heard that? We say Om Shanti is the Hindi for that. It's such a beautiful, deep meaning to it. Om, some people chant Om. So the meaning is I'm a soul. I'm a spiritual being. I, the essence, am so light and so radiant. And that's the real me. So all the other things that come are just, I've forgotten that. True? When I forget that, all the other things come. So the other part of it, Shanti, means full of peace. So not just a little bit peace, but full. So really overflowing, radiant with peace. So if you think about that, you could sit for half an hour just thinking about, I am a peaceful soul. Shall we just have a little pause, just for 30 seconds? Now just focus your eyes wherever you'd like. Doesn't matter. You could use this point of light picture, which is even better, because it's something that's representing, an otherworldly image, isn't it? You don't see many things like that in the physical world. Maybe sometimes sunset or sunrise, you see filters of light, or a dewdrop, sometimes a reflection of beautiful sparkle or something. But that point of light, radiating energy, I don't think we usually see something like that, do we? So that's very, very evocative. So using our vision, eyes open, is very powerful. So not to close off, to close the eyes and to go into a nil state, there's nothing happening, or just a stream of consciousness, you're just letting everything flow over you. There's no real benefit to that. So just for 30 seconds, look towards there and really feel that I'm a similar form, to make this an I statement to yourself. I'm a similar form to that. I'm a point of light, like a star radiating energy, radiating natural peace, tranquility, energy, life force. That's me, and I inhabit this body. So now when I be still and quiet myself and not speak, go into your own thought about that just for 30 seconds. And if you have to, just keep coming back to that phrase, I am a peaceful soul. Other thoughts come. No, I don't need that now. I'm a peaceful soul. Okay? 30 seconds. Good. That's all you need. True? That's all you need. Now, at the beginning of the day, maybe 5 minutes, build up to 10. You don't have to do 20 straight off, because, we've heard so many times that, you have to do 20 minutes or half an hour at least, the start of the day and the end of the day. Build up to that. So maybe 5 minutes, just the first few moments of waking are the most fertile time, to put the seed of some very powerful thoughts in there. And from the night before, to have something that you've maybe written, or you've read some of the beautiful books, of spiritual thoughts and inspirations. So you've read something before you go to sleep, and you've got that to wake up to read again. So it really reinforces some beautiful, beautiful thinking and feeling. And then you just sit, have a special chair or a special little area you go to, just drink your water or a cup of tea, whatever you need. Not too much to distract you though at that time. First, on waking, it's really important time. Who's felt that? Was it experimenting with that? That's a really, really, pivotal time to put some powerful thoughts in. And then during the day, just 30 seconds here and there, in between phone calls. Yeah, in between the phone call, or even on the phone call. The other person might be talking, so a good chance to meditate. When we really think about it and look through your day, there are so many opportunities. Again, we just forget to do it. Just think, I'm a peaceful soul. I don't have to get wrapped up in this, because someone might be playing some sort of manipulation game and think, no, I don't have to play this game, So it's a very powerful thought that you can meditate anytime, anywhere. So experiment with that, yeah? So that's another thing of seeing your whole cycle of the day, how you could actually change that. Seeing how you are responding to different things, the different situations. Because actually very similar situations keep coming up, don't they? So you can rehearse in your mind how you'd prefer to be, what you'd like to say, how you'd like to be. And so vision is much more than just seeing through the eyes, but then it's attitude, isn't it? There's another Hindi word, and we use Hindi words because they're very, very deep, and they're ancient words, older than English, and they've got very big resonance, it's a huge sort of vibe to them. So another word that we use, and we just did it, was called drishti. Drishti. D-R-I-S-H-T-I. Drishti. And that means the attitude with which I see, my way of being and how I see things, how I perceive things. And so when we practice drishti toward each other, I'm thinking is the thinking and feeling I'm a soul, I'm a beautiful soul, and I'm looking towards another beautiful soul, beyond the mask and the costume, Being aware of all those things is very important, the name of the person, gender, of course, culture, their station in life, if it's your boss, you have to realize that's your boss, that there's a certain relationship there. But even beyond that, see the soul, see the brother or sister, and beyond. So even go beyond gender, see the soul in every person. And one of the greatest places for this, I'm just going to check the timing because I'm on a roll. So you're such a lovely group. I can just see we could really be here for a long time, but I better check. So yeah, good, we've got lots of time. One of the most easy places to practice drishti is a supermarket. Because usually the checkout person can't wait to stop their job. They can't, counting down the minutes almost. And they've had so many people going, hello, how are you? It's really, really superficial. But if you are in soul consciousness yourself and looking toward that person, even have a little bit of a chat, they could make their day. It's spiritual service. Just to be human, just to be a very lovely person with everyone you meet. And that's a way of seeing yourself. How do we actually see ourselves? Are we always just having to fend off things? Is that how I see myself? That I'm always in a protection mode? Or am I just giving? So I remember when I first started meditating, I was having and still do, but I was having very profound experiences. And I thought I had to keep it safe. Does that make sense? Like, I didn't want to lose it, and I didn't want any bad vibes in. It's like I'm getting this good vibe, and I want all the bad vibes out. So it's a little bit like trying to put protection walls up. So I didn't realize I was putting up sort of defense mechanisms and walls in between. And I don't remember when it was. It was a few years into it, maybe 2 or 3 years, and it was almost sudden. I realized, my goodness, if I'm just an instrument, to give out a really beautiful vibe, nothing bad can come in. Even in healing, they say that, if there's a beautiful divine energy going on, nothing negative can impinge on that. So just very simple, in simple language, you know, if you're giving out good vibes, nothing bad can come in. If you're really feeling it, actually really, really feeling it. And you can see this, again, you can see this, the power of vision. You can see when someone walks into a room and they're really cheerful, you know, it's like it brightens the whole room. You think, wow, wasn't that amazing that we all sort of took on this sort of slightly cloudy, foggy sort of vibe, and one person walks in and changed the whole thing, like putting a light bulb goes on. And you can be that person, you know, from meditation and powerful positive thinking, regular positive thinking. Make it such a habit that it serves you. Does that make sense? So it's like a program. Because whatever you do over and over and over, it becomes not only, we call it habit, but you're just running a program. And so the old programs are not given energy anymore. If you're running good new programs and practicing that, it becomes a new program, it serves you. It doesn't feel right if you haven't just had a little meditation before an important meeting. Or you know that there might be a bit of challenge at home, so you're sitting in the car just for 2 minutes before you go in. So, you know, and it doesn't feel right to not be there. It's very practical style. It's good to do occasionally, you know. But it becomes, you know, your lifeline. It's actually your foundation on which your whole life is riding like a magic carpet. And so the power of your vision is, yeah, the soul conscious vision. And it's sometimes a mixture. We're still drawn into what's called material consciousness or body consciousness. But soul consciousness, as it gets stronger and stronger, predominant, you know. Again, it will serve you if you make it deep and natural. And so vision also is that it's a very, very deep thing to think of the self and see the self as you really are. And this is another meditation to go into for quite some time, is that who am I really? Who is the eternal self that existed before this current body, and who will exist beyond this body? That's the other thing in the Western countries we don't deal with too much, is that at some point this wonderful costume, even though I'm very attached to it, it's going to finish. It might be tonight. I hope it doesn't. It could be any time. We don't have any guarantee on that. But how do I see myself beyond all of the temporary things? And then let's go further. How do I see others? Not just the closest people to me, but if you could visualize now, here's another thing, visualizing about vision. Visualize the whole planet in front of you as though you were in space and you're looking down, if that was possible to do. And just go with that. You know, can you visualize? Is everyone okay with visualizing? Yeah. Because, you know, that's the thing about commentaries. It is requiring you to take on those thoughts and visualize and to feel something. Eh? So let's just visualize the whole globe in front of us. So we've seen pictures of it, haven't we, from space? So the beautiful planet Earth just in front of us, and all the billions of souls in different countries, the different ages, and of course gender, different size of people. You know, there are all these different people playing different roles like actors. We're all like actors. This amazing drama, or this play. And the stage is the Earth. So if you could visualize all the little sparkling lights inhabiting their costumes of matter, playing their parts, how different is that view? So that view from above, or detached, and seeing a bigger picture. All little small problems suddenly go away, don't they? It's like, how could I really be worried about just not getting a parking space or something? When you're looking at the planet and that we're going through, there's really a transformation time. That's the potential. But I could be part of the decay, if you like, or, you know, the downward slope, or I could be, what you don't see on the news is the upward slope of consciousness. So I can be part of that and really contributing to it. Again, it's choice. So how do I see myself in that? How do I see the world? How do I see... That's the thing about what we look at. You know, if we're looking at a lot of news and a lot of negative things, what comes into the screen of the mind? What are we recording? Yeah, we fear, a lot of things. So it's important to keep up with what's happening, but not to the point that it just absolutely invades our consciousness. So most of the time we need to be putting in really powerful, positive thoughts. And when we view things like that, you know, things that are really chaotic and very powerfully negative, to feel that somehow, even in our own small way, we can add positive vibe to that, you know, to heal. And we think, oh, what can I do? I'm just one person, but what could this room do? You know, how many people here? 30 people or something. If we all collectively put our thoughts to any given situation, and I don't mean trying to solve it, but to actually give powerful meditation vibes to it, things might actually, if not change, something could actually be gradually shifting and could be adding to that shift. And that's what's happening. That's what you're part of. That's why you're here. So I congratulate you for that, because not everyone's ready for it. No, it'll be the right timing for that. Let's go higher. Now, what's God's vision on me, on you, on the self? Now, when we say God, Supreme Soul, a soul like us, but doesn't have physical eyes, doesn't have a physical body. So what does that soul see? Is it seeing like we think of seeing? Emma, is it okay? I know we're broadcasting this as well, but is it okay to get some feedback from you? What do you think God, the Supreme Soul, the beautiful Mother, Father, the Parent Soul, sees in you? Only the best. Feelings, yeah, your true-hearted feelings, yeah, absolutely. So the Supreme Soul, the Parent, wants the best for you, you know, and perceives you, the soul, in your pristine state, golden. Now, we have some negative traits, don't we? You don't believe that the Supreme Soul sees you beautifully? Now, we think that the Supreme Soul just judges us, you know, like, oh, I've done wrong, so, you know, I'm really not in a good state here. I'm not in the good books. It's a powerful word, but just let's use, if it's okay, if you're comfortable with this, the word Baba. It's another ancient Hindi word, just means father. Not just father, but Ba means mother too. It's grandmother, babushka. There are lots of beautiful languages that have similar words, and it's more an endearing feeling. It's like a heartfelt feeling rather than God is judging me, you know. So Baba just feels lovely, doesn't it? It's like Baba's like baby too. We call little babies Baba. So just a lovely feeling of connection, of love, of protection, of comfort, of compassion, of that soul seeing you in your best form, sparkling, radiant. Now, sometimes that takes a little while to accept. Are you feeling that inside? There's a bit of resistance. Oh yeah, but I'm not like that. I'm not radiant. I'm not golden. I'm a bit like this, you know. Now, if we had a piece of paper, you know, how long would it take to write your negative points down? Pretty quick, isn't it? And many, oh, I'm like this, I'm nervous, I'm angry. But how long would it take you to write your best points? You might have to really think about that. It would take some time. Loving feeling, that's your natural feeling. God's feeling for you is loving, definitely. It's not judgmental. We judge ourselves, actually, because when we do something that's not in the natural law of life, what we say is negative, what happens? Energy loss. And that's why we judge ourselves, because we feel less. We feel, yeah, weakened. So when there's less energy, we do judge that, and we're pretty harsh. No, it's fine, and it's actually meant to be like that. And that's showing that our conscience or our will is alive. You know, that I'm able to make a good decision because, oh, that wasn't a good decision. I don't want to do that one again. Makes sense, doesn't it? It's just very logical. It's got nothing to do with the morality of it, really. It's just that, well, if you do something wrong, that's the outcome. That's the consequence. And then we start to really look at that. It's the thing of looking again, to look at that deeply without any sort of guilt or shame feeling that's inappropriate. Just look at what is the effect. I don't want that effect. I don't like feeling angry. So if anger, when that anger comes up, you think, well, no, that's not the natural me. I don't like that. So it becomes a very easy choice. And then you make steps towards becoming more calm, more accepting, more understanding, more tolerant, more patient. But all of these are a process, aren't they? It's not going to happen overnight because for many, many years we've had the other things happening. So those programs are running. So they're strong, but not to fear them. Don't fear the dark. Just keep heading towards the light. And there's less dark, isn't it? So vision is powerful. Vision is powerful. Perception. And when you really, really think about it, Supreme Soul, the vision of the Supreme Soul on you is so beautiful. It's uplifting. And wouldn't you want to be seen like that too, you know? You would actually want to be seen in your best light. And so, because if there's that feeling in your meditation that Supreme Soul is perceiving of me like that, then you can start to perceive of yourself like that too. Again, it takes time, but we start to love ourselves too because we realize, wow, I'm so loved and I'm so appreciated exactly as I am. So let's go back to some old sayings again. So as your vision, so your world. So again, it's the thing of the attitude of everyone has a golden state. So we start to see our own or feel your own divine state through meditation. Who's experienced a little bit of that? A little tiny bit? Yeah, good. So even if it's like a little glimpse or a feeling, that'll increase and it gets very strong. And then you're more likely to be able to see others like that too. Sometimes, again, going back to the supermarket, sometimes I'm walking through the supermarket and I've forgotten, I'm just sort of naturally smiling and people are sort of smiling at it. I'm thinking, gee, do I know that person? I wonder. I don't think it's because they might have seen me at a concert or something, but it's just because you naturally sort of wanting to see the best in yourself and other people. There's a natural connection. It's really, really beautiful. So I'm experiencing that. It is 30 years doing meditation, so it's becoming more and more natural. So I just want to give you that hope that if you practice, that it does become natural. It's not something like a hobby, that you do on the side, sort of a bit of meditation here or there. That's right. Sometimes it's after the meditation you realize you've actually gone somewhere. Your consciousness has traveled and you've gone to a more elevated, if you could say, state. It's good. It's a good sign, yeah. It's a really good point. Thanks for bringing that up. Because, with meditation, what can often happen is that we think nothing's working. I'm not getting here's another thing of vision. I'm not getting a vision of something. I'm not seeing points of light. I'm not actually experiencing something otherworldly, like incredible sort of feeling in the body or sort of thunder and lightning. Because sometimes we do expect something, some sort of sign that it's all happening. And more likely, the sign is, or the evidence, if you like, is later in a certain situation where you really would have been floored by something, really upset or really angry, and you're still a little bit feeling, but much better. And you think, this meditation's working. It gives you a real feeling of confidence. Right, I'm going to continue this. I'm really going to get deeply into this and really conquer these things, because it's not conquering other people, is it? It's actually conquering those things within the self. And it's not a battle if you just go to the good, to the golden, to the best situation. So it's having this vision of always finding the best in situations too. So finding the best in the self, best qualities, looking for the gold in other people, seeing their virtues, not always just seeing the weaknesses. And then there's also looking for the best in every situation, which I started this sharing about, whatever the challenge is, there's some benefit somewhere. We don't see it straight off, but we can practice just to be aware of it straight off. Be on the lookout for where's the benefit, what is actually happening in this situation, and what can be the beautiful outcome, even from something so negative. And we've heard all these inspirational stories, from other people that have come through some really massive challenge and come through the other side, and even really, really extreme things, where they've chosen to think a different way, and it's created a different outcome. So we can choose that for ourselves, not always just be inspired by, others' stories, but create that for ourselves. Create a new vision of the self. So let's have a meditation. Danny, is that okay? We go to the meditation now? Good. So Danny's going to have some gentle music going, and I'll just speak a few words as suggested thoughts. So commentaries are really, when it's on a CD, of course you're going to hear the same words over and over, and you even get to know exactly what's coming up next, You could even probably recite some of them if you've heard them enough times. But really what it's doing is training us to have our own commentary. Does that make sense? So that when you sit in meditation, alone or in a group, you're not just swayed by the atmosphere or whatever's going on or your own thoughts, but you start to create a commentary in your mind. So this is another commentary, which you won't hear on a CD. Well, might be on the broadcast, but it's in the moment. And this is what happens for all of us when we get very experienced with meditation. You can really guide your thoughts. You're not going to get tipped over by other thoughts, so much, but really focus on a particular theme. And so to begin, let's take a deep breath. And if it's comfortable, through your nose, because that's very relaxing. Just gently hold your breath for a minute, for a few seconds. And out through the mouth. Good. Another one, in through the nose. Hold gently. And when you exhale now, just drop the shoulders. Yeah, that's it. Feel the difference? Just being aware of the breath first. Again, as you breathe in peace and calmness, power and love. Hold your breath just gently. And breathe out, letting go of negativity and fear, worry and tension. All negativity. And now just find your own pace with breathing more deeply. And let's now move all the energy from the tips of the toes right through the body upwards. So you feel that your life force is being centered right deep inside the center of the forehead. Deep inside where you, the soul, sit on the throne of the forehead. The master, the king, the queen. You're sitting at the base of the brain, looking through the eyes. How precious is the vision that we have. Even if the eyes are not so good, but just to have sight is so precious. Looking through the eyes, hearing through the ears, how precious. The sense of hearing. There's appreciation, gratefulness. Keep breathing deeper. Feel the weight of the body in the chair. And as much as possible, just gently leave the eyes open if you can. It can be just half open. It's much more powerful. So it's not just seeing with your eyes, but perceiving with what's called the third eye, the eye of wisdom, the eye of perception. And having brought the energy to the center of the forehead, realize and feel, understand yourself to be sparkling, radiant soul, the controller of the body, activating everything, giving this body life force, expressing your own individual, unique part through this costume. And feel a very natural, unattached feeling, unattached, very light. It's like you're weightless, free, even whilst being in the body. In meditation, we don't leave the body, but our consciousness can travel. And now just place your consciousness in a world of golden light, beautiful golden light. There's nothing but light. There's nothing physical in that dimension, the home of the soul. And you are just suspended, floating in golden light. And there are many, many other souls like you floating free in that region. And when other thoughts come, just let them go and just return to the feeling of the soul floating in light. Feel so peaceful, so still, beyond concerns of everyday things, beyond the world of matter. It's like time stands still. It's like a constellation of living stars around you. And in the center of that constellation is a very bright star. The parent, the friend, your greatest friend. And you're drawn to that soul, supreme. It's like you're floating in the aura of the Supreme Soul. It's like an embrace of light. You feel completely enveloped in the most divine love and energy. Nothing else matters. This is the most important, beautiful connection. Stay in that state for as long as you want. Have the thought, I am light in the world of light, with the great light, my friend. The beloved, the one who really sees me as I am, the true self. very slowly, very gradually, feel that you are still connected to the Supreme Soul, like a thread of light between you. As you gradually, slowly float back down through layers of light, back past all the planets and stars, and the sun and moon, back to the earth, back to this room, back to your body, but still connected. Thread of light connecting you. And you can regain that beautiful position in the soul world, your rightful position alongside the Supreme Soul. Anytime you want, you're still connected. In fact, it's an eternal connection. And as we very slowly come back to the awareness of this room and each other, stay in that soul conscious feeling that you are the soul, the center of the forehead, experiencing everything through this body and seeing and perceiving of everyone around you as a similar form, point of light, like a star sparkling in the center of the forehead. Beautiful beings, each with their own special qualities. I have my own special qualities, and I start to see that in others. Om Shanti. Another beautiful practice you can do is, excuse me, in meditation and even just in daily life as you're going around, is to adopt an inner smile. Now, it might not take the great form of Las Vegas sort of smile, but to actually feel really cheerful, that your whole demeanor is of cheerfulness and lightness and, of course, peace. And so peace and happiness together are contented. I feel you're contented. You know?